Hey, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Chats and Vibes with Miss T. I am your host, Miss T, and joining me in the studio today is Mr. Benny Wilson, who is the founder of DAPA, which is the Dads Are Parents Also. Now, did I say that correct? DAPA? Is that how
Correct. You
you?
did say correct. Yes, it is. That's pronounced.
Okay, oh good. I want you to just introduce yourself far as Benny Wilson. Who is Benny Wilson?
Benny Wilson is a father. Benny Wilson is a realtor. Benny Wilson is a person who's originally from Mississippi who migrated up to Minnesota back in the 90s. Um,
Oh, you are there with the snow.
oh, the cold,
You,
most
yeah,
definitely.
you with cold. We
Most
down
definitely.
here complaining about the little flakes of snow and cold we get, but you with the cold.
Yes, I'm almost a black ass Eskimo. So, yeah.
Oh my God. How
Oh,
did you know what you were going into when you decided to move there or
you know what? I really didn't because when I moved up here, it was in June and it was, kind of coolish, but it was nice. So I was like, oh, I can live up here forever. But that first winter hit and it was like, it was
oh,
something
child,
different. It was something
I
different.
know it was. How many times did you visit Minnesota before you decided to relocate there?
None. Just moved. I just moved, trying to get out of
Well, out of
Mississippi.
all the places on the map, how in the hell did you end up in Minnesota?
You know what? I heard there was a lot of jobs up here. And being from Mississippi, you just want a better opportunity at the time. So
Okay.
I came up here to Minnesota, and jobs was plentiful. And
Okay.
I tend to stay where the money at.
Okay. Okay. So had you start practicing real estate when you were in Mississippi?
No, I have not. Real estate just came about after COVID hit. I used to my first house that I sold. I started to doing little things in real estate, but not until after COVID hit. I said, it's time to do some of the stuff that I really want to do.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm
Oh
enjoying
yeah.
it. I like it.
I know it's different. I mean, considering we're from the same state and hometown. Yeah, y'all might have to tell y'all about that on another episode. Yeah, we know a lot of the same people, y'all, but that's a whole nother
We
brown
do.
liquor conversation. However, I saw your post. I'm not even sure how I ran across your post, if I was tagged in it or if I was invited to it. Um, but it's called DAPA. Dads are parents also.
Correct.
What is that about?
Well, you know what? Going through issues with a mother of my child, and she kind of relinquished me from seeing her. So I'm thinking that because my name is on the birth certificate, that I had rights. Yeah, not in the state of
You have
Minnesota. Not in the state of Minnesota, you don't. What the rights you have for in the state of Minnesota, as far as your name being on the birth certificate, you will get a notification if she tries to adopt your child. You will also can be put on child support.
Wait a minute. What do you mean when she tries to adopt your child?
I mean, when she tries to, if a mother wants to put your child up for adoption,
Put her up for
for
adoption.
adoption,
Okay,
yes,
you
sorry, yeah, but if you tries to put your child up for adoption, then because your name is on the birth certificate, you will be notified.
have to know.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and the thing with that, by a person's name being on the birth certificate, doesn't mean that okay, do yeah, give you your child. No, there's a process you have to go through to see if the courts would allow you to have your child. So, and then with the whole child support thing, you're liable for child support if your name is on the birth certificate. But as far as having
Mhm.
any type of visitation rights, that's a whole nother process that you'll have to go through in order to obtain visitation or, even to see your child.
If the other parent is not being,
Cooperative.
thank you, because I wasn't gonna say cooperative. I was gonna say cooperative. Um, and yes, I do say words. And for some of the ladies, you know who you are. They're bitches. I mean, just plain simple. I
Mm,
mean, it's no reason that they really have other than leverage. They know, especially for dads who really care about their kids and they know it, they know that's the only way they can strike a nerve with you. So that's what they do, not realizing that they are hurting the child in the
most definitely.
process. Yeah. So what made you, I mean, without going into too much detail in your personal life, what was the last straw that made you come up with this movement?
Well, you know what? I would like to take credit for all of this, but it was a divine power that led me to this because as I slept in slumber one night, and in my sleep, I heard the words DAPA, DAPA. And so in my sleep, while I was dreaming, I'm like, what is DAPA? What is DAPA? Then it's like dads are parents also. So it's like in order for me to, change the statutes, I need to do something about it. And for so long have I heard other people cry about, the way their mothers, the other children was treating them and holding their kids basically hostage, which I would like to call legally kidnapping, not allowing them to see their children, not allowing them to, come over and visit. It was just absurd. I'm like, this is crazy. And I tried to sympathize with them, but I
Mhm.
didn't really feel a pain until I was put into the situation.
Into the
So it's
situation,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's like I should have had a voice in this matter before it happened to me. And most of the time we sit back and watch people go through situations and we don't do nothing about it. Instead of
Yeah. Why
engaging
why
in
do you think that is? Do you think why do you think that is? Do you think that we don't realize it's as serious as it is,
I think
or
that
what?
because it's not affecting us, I never thought that I would be put in the position that I have been with my last child. Because I have four children from a previous marriage, and that never happened. And I kind of sympathize with people who have been in a position, but I didn't see it affecting me. So
Mhm.
therefore, I didn't really, try to assist. I sympathize with people, but I didn't try to assist them.
Okay. Okay. So, thinking back and with like your conversations among yourself and your peers, what are some of the things that you heard? Like the reason that the mother of their child or children was not allowing them to be in the kid's life. I'm sure the mother gave them a reason, but what what
Mhm.
what was that reason other than she just
uh,
being a bitch? Yeah.
in general, I think I've heard just because they had the power, they have sole custody of the child. If the father didn't do something that they didn't want to do, they held the child hostage.
Hmm.
Just like you said, them being bitter and just they could do it. They could do it, and not realizing how much they are damaging the child. It's a
And
game. It's just a game.
it definitely is a game, and it's a game that usually, for the most part, I say will backfire in the end. Especially like for moms who are trying to raise sons. I have
Correct.
two sons. There's only so much stuff I can teach my son.
Most definitely.
They need their dad. If not their dad, they need some type of positive male figure in their life. But if their dad is available and he's level headed on the right
Hmm.
track, they need to be around their dad. And the same for girls. Dad is a girl's first love. That is like the very first man that she falls in love with,
Most
and is a
definitely.
good blueprint for the men that she will meet throughout her life. So I never understood why women did that. I've heard of it very often. One of the main things that I've heard is for men who don't contribute financially. They
Right.
feel that um, they should not have visitation rights. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that regardless of what's happening, if a father is good to his child For me, I think that you should, provide for your children, for one.
Mm-hmm.
But that financial piece, like this custody piece, the child will figure it out. Don't deny the child access to their father, especially if they're calling and want to be with him. It's for
Mm-hmm.
me. My child lived with me, basically all her life. So, and her mom even lived out of state, and my child was with me. So when she came back into town, you know, for like a visit, and she, moves back here, all of a sudden, oh, you're not answering your phone. I can't come and see her. So
How old
stuff
was
like that.
your child at the time?
She was 4. She was
Okay.
4.
So you
She just
had her
turned
when she
5.
was a infant toddler age.
Yeah, yeah. We've been sharing custody, and this isn't her first time doing this. And I could have been, facetious while she was in my custody, not answer the phone, not allow her to see and did all that. But I understand the importance of having both parents in a child's life. So I would never deny her access to her mother. Never, regardless of what it is, I wouldn't deny her access to her mother. And it just behooves me how she did turn around and did the same thing to me. So she did the opposite to me, rather.
What was her reason? I mean,
Yeah.
other than the obvious, I'll say it again, y'all. But what was her reason?
You know what? If you can get a hold of an actor, then you'll have it. But she hasn't spoken to me in over a year. So I have to go through different channels to make sure to see if my daughter's all right. I have to ask other people. She's not communicating. She don't answer the phone. I ask her, hey, do my baby need this or you need this? No answer whatsoever. So I'm not sure what's the reason. We can speculate some reason, but
Yeah.
we have to ask her, like, what is her legitimate reason of doing so? And to be frankly, there is no reason. It wasn't no domestic situation. Like I said, I'm not a deadbeat father. So what's the reason?
It's
And she had
well,
other children, and when if she needed a little help with doing something else, hey, I don't want to just bring stuff for my child and not have children feel a certain type of way, because a child is a child regardless of what the situation is.
mm-hmm.
So I truly can't answer that question because I don't know the answer to it.
Yeah. I've heard different little stories pertaining to this matter. And one thing is for sure, the kid is going to grow up.
Most
The kid
definitely.
is going to start asking questions. Then what are you going to say?
Well,
When
you know,
baby goes
yeah.
to her mom or their mothers and ask, where my daddy? Or can you call my daddy? What are you going to say? You're going to look in this child's eyes and you're going to lie. So, and you're okay with that.
um, the questions are already begun. My daughter is very intelligent, and she's a
Mm-hmm.
daddy's girl. And
Ooh.
like I said, she's been around me all her life. So I think it was the day before Valentine's. I talked to my baby, and she asked me. She said, "Daddy, are you going to kidnap me and never allow me to see my mama again?" I was
Ooh.
like, "Wow."
So
So
you know what conversations are being.
exactly. So I had to, instead of me, I had to, catch my breath and take a pause, and I
Mm,
had to say, baby, I'm your father. I would never kidnap you. But you know what? If I took my daughter and did the same thing her mother did, there would be Amber Alerts. The police would be knocking down my door, because to them, and according to the statutes, I'm not. I don't have custody. I have no legal custody to a child that I have made.
So, with that being said, what is the legwork? Would you have to like file a petition with the court to get joint custody, or what would you actually have to do?
So the process is, and it depends on which county you live in, and it actually depends on which county the mother lives in, because I
Oh,
had to jump through so many hoops to kind of
mm-hmm,
find out what was going on. You have to, for one, fill out custody paperwork.
mm-hmm.
You have to turn that in, and they have to approve it, and they give it back to you. You have to have her served. Now, the issue with me, it comes in with is that because she's moved and not allowed me to know where she lives at, I can't serve her the paperwork. So that's holding up my process of getting custody with her. But that's the kind of the legwork that you have to do, go through the court system and petition to have custody, wait for a court date. And then once you get to court, they're going to try to see if you guys can agree on some things. And if you can't, then they'll set a court date. And then you guys eventually go to court. My thing is, too, it was a young brother who was making like $15 or $18 an hour, and they had already had him paying $600 of child support. Now he has an apartment and a house, and now the $600 child support. So now, whether he has the time to go to court because of the child support order, now he has to get a second job. So now he has to take time off to continue to go to court. Why should we have to go through all these things if we're giving equal custody from the jump?
I mean, is this just a Minnesota thing, or are you seeing it more popular in more states than not?
No, ma'am. Since I started DAPA, which is not long ago, like 6 days or something like that, there have been people inboxing me like, "I'm so glad that somebody's standing out for this." These laws in South Carolina or in Memphis is just ridiculous. So it's happening to us, and it just affects us all. Like my daughter has sisters and brothers who love her, has a dog who loves her, has a nana who loves her, has uncle and aunties who love her, and we're all denied access. So it affects everyone in the family.
So
So
it's
yeah,
not just access with you. She's cut off access with your family as well.
most definitely, most definitely.
Now,
And
when
that was
you said earlier,
mhm.
if you had custody of your daughter, or even if she gave in and let you keep her for a weekend, if you switch them tables on her, like you said, there would be sirens going out throughout the whole city. And I'm wondering how she would feel if you did the same thing to her, or if that was done by a lot of other fathers, if they, turn the tables on the mothers, the way they're acting. How would they feel?
I think it's some posts that kind of remind me of the question, and it's like, can men take the same type of abuse that they put women through? Like,
Hmm.
would you be able to take the type of abuse that I put you through? If I,
Hmm.
held your daughter and I allowed you access to her, because every time I call, it goes straight to voicemail. It's no answer. If she chooses to allow my daughter to allow her to call me, then that's when I get a call, and I have to be available. I have to be available. Like I say, I'm doing that, but there's a lot of leg work into that. I'm a realtor, and then I do home defense. So if I'm busy at the moment, or God say I miss a call,
You may
you know,
not, if
I
you
can't
try to
call
call
back.
her back.
Yeah, I can call back, and maybe she'll call me back, or it
Yeah,
could be weeks or a month or two before I hear back from her.
that's crazy. That is ridiculous. It is childish.
Most
Very
definitely.
childish. So, do you pay child support to her?
I do not, because like I said, my child was living with me
Okay.
for 4 years up until that. Until she came, I
Okay,
have
so
not
you
been
said that
summoned.
she
I
was
don't
living with you for 4 years, and you say the child just turned 5.
exactly. You know what?
Wait,
It was in
wait a
I'm gonna
minute.
say I'm
Wait,
gonna
wait,
say
wait.
it was a solid 3 years, and then I came back home for a sabbatical. That's a whole nother podcast right there. And how mom had went to Memphis, and then while I was on my sabbatical, she left and went to another state, and she took her then and wouldn't allow me access then. So, like I say, when we started talking to get back on big terms, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be the bigger person, and because I know how important it is for her to have both parents in her life.
Okay, so pause.
Let's get it.
Time out. How old was this baby when her mother left her, because that's exactly what it was with you.
How old was she when she started living with me?
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were. Let me see. I'm going to say she was when she started living with me solo. She was. It just happened right after her first birthday.
Okay.
Her birthday is in September, and I think it happened in October.
Okay. And without going too deep in 8 words or less, what was her reason for leaving? I mean,
Well, it's some stuff that happened that caused us to kind
okay.
of part, and I live about an hour away from her, and I was the only one with the vehicle, so I would take my baby to daycare and then go to work. And you know what? The craziest thing about that, so my baby can see her mother, I would drive an hour to where she lived on her days off and drop her off and pick her up. So some days I would drive a total of like 110 miles just so my baby can have access to see her, and then I would come home and, do it all again the next day. That's how I feel about the importance of children having both parents in their life. I was willing to make that sacrifice.
Okay, so
And I did
sacrifice.
that for like 2.5, 3 years with all that driving.
That's the word I'm going to bounce off of. Sacrifice. Um, yeah, you had the car. Okay, yeah. To me, that's still not no excuse. Why would she not have a baby? Or why would I not? It would have to be drastic measures for me to just let my baby go and reside. I don't care, daddy or not. It would have to be drastic measures for me to leave my baby.
Well,
I
I mean,
mean, daycare, okay, come on. That's why they got public transportation, all that. So come on. I'm gonna need
no,
something
I
else.
mean, the public transportation wasn't really cutting it because of her work schedule and my work schedule. And
But
she
again, we're
knows
talking
that,
about sacrifice here. That's why you have friends and family. I'm a true
nah,
believer that when you
she
want to
ain't
get
got no
right,
families or no friends.
I find it hard to believe. And the only reason I say that is because when you want to go somewhere, you'll find a ride.
But with the distance of the daycare, and it was a mutual decision. We decided, we sat down and talked and say what's best for the interest, best for the child interest, and
But was no
that's what we
daycare
went with.
closer to her?
With these daycares today, you gotta kind of have a peace of mind when you're leaving your child at a daycare. You don't
Okay.
want to just leave your child at any daycare. And there were some daycare issues that happened in the past with her
Okay.
other kids that kind of, made their decision the way it was.
Okay. So she had older kids, but this was her younger child that you have together.
Yes,
Okay.
most definitely, most definitely.
Phew. Yeah, that's a whole topic of discussion. So moving on back to DAPA.
Uh-huh.
What is your overall mission with this platform? And what do you need for those who are listening who might be going through the same thing? What do we need to do?
All right, good questions. My overall thing with DAPA is to help educate people about the process, to help people to navigate through the process,
Mm-hmm.
so that they won't end up in the same situation that I'm in, or many other fathers have been before me, or are currently in. I think
Okay.
it's important that we know our rights, and to know that in most cases we don't have any rights, and how to obtain those rights, so you can avoid the heartache in the future. What I see is with DAPA, I want DAPA to be more than just moving, fighting for the rights of fathers. I want DAPA will also look like you know, going into the city and assisting kids. One thing I want to do, well, I'm
A
going to do this
mentor
summer.
type mentorship type
Yes,
thing also.
exactly. How many kids know how to fish these days? I didn't have a father, so I had to learn to fish with someone else's father. So it's about branching out to those kids and being a mentor, helping them fish, teaching them financing, teach them how to barbecue, just teaching them certain things that a dad should have done that would have been in their life, and just keeping them off the streets, because what they say about an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So if you can
And it
get
is.
these off the street, have them busy doing something, show up at these kids' school, let them know that, hey, I'm for real about you and I believe in you. We need to put, love and trust back into the community, back into the kids. Let these kids know that you love them. And we need
Mhm.
to, as black men, just stop trying to be so hardcore all the time. That's something that we had to learn, because I come from that generation, where men don't show feelings and this, and that, and this. But when you know better, you do better.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I always reference that as being the village. And I think you and I
Most
are from the same era, meaning everybody took care of everybody back in our day. And I'm sure
most
you
definitely.
experienced that. Meaning
Most
I
definitely.
mean, if you got in trouble at school, trust and believe you were getting in trouble when you got home. If Miss Rosie on the corner saw you do something and she got them pictures out for you, believe when your daddy and your mama got home, you were
Right.
going to get it again. So that would be a great and structured part of building that village back up again, because things are not like they were. Everyone seems to be focused on this, that, and the third.
Most definitely.
Everyone is so busy. People have on blinders to certain things. And a lot of kids are slipping through the cracks because of it.
Most definitely.
I'm sure, let's just take our hometown, for instance. I know you've heard all the stories about people just senseless killing for what? For
I
what?
had
I mean, just senseless over, yeah, it's crazy. So to get those villages back going, being there for those young men, so try to get them on the right track, because one day they're going to be fathers. They're going to be
most definitely.
husbands.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they need a foundation, and unfortunately, everybody don't have that blueprint at home.
most
So
definitely.
to be able to reach out, for that single mom or, family member that needs to, even for dads. I mean, sometimes dads have that awkward work schedule that they just can't be as present as they want to be. So to have somebody there that, can help out, that
Most
I mean,
definitely.
a plus thing. So I like that. I'm already seeing what you got, Minnesota chapter. So we got to get a Mississippi chapter,
Oh,
and
you
the only
know
reason
coming
why I
home.
say
You know
that
coming
is
home.
because each state has
Most
different
definitely.
sets of rules and different laws. So what goes on in one state may not be the case in another state.
Right. Most definitely. And that's the plan. Like I say, it's to start off in Minnesota first. But most definitely, I'm gonna reach home, go back home, Mississippi, Tennessee, just I want every
Mm,
state to make sure that all fathers have the equal rights. And I think that in some instances, women are so quick to downplay men. The absentee father, and we're losing our men to violence on the street. We're losing our men to the jail system. And to actually have a man who wants to step up, who wants to take his role and be a father to his child, and now you want to deny him of that? Come on.
that is crazy, because I've, been in circles of women who's, um, have fathers that they don't want to do nothing. And when I say nothing, some want to write a check and that's it, thinking that money is their part. Of
Right,
course, monetary helps, but that's not being a father. Your daughter and
right.
your son needs more than just money. And when
Most
that kid
definitely.
grows up, they're going to realize that. And when they ask, why were you never around? I hope you are prepared to answer their question honestly and truthfully, because you can't say that mom didn't let you. What was your reason for not being around?
They ain't gonna be able to answer because you know what? I didn't have a. I don't know who my father is. That's a whole nother podcast. But my stepfather, I had the opportunity to ask him that question. You know, because him and my mom divorced. You know, a while ago, and
Mm-hmm.
when he separated, you know, it's kind of like you separated from the kids. And I probably was in my late 20s, early 30s, and I asked him that question, and he just couldn't answer. The only thing I got was I was like, you
What
know
did
what?
you
That's
ask him?
yeah. I asked him, and the only thing he said was and I stopped him like, you know what? It's all right. You know, I'm good. I'm good. So someone won't have an answer because you know what? There is no answer. You just didn't want to
Do
be
you
around
think
because you chose not to.
when you think about those mothers that are, being, I ain't gonna say the word, y'all, when they're being uncooperative,
Mm.
and men who are not being cooperative, do you think they are actually thinking about the future? You're acting this way right now. But again, that kid is going to get older. That kid is going to ask questions. Are you really thinking about what you could possibly be asked in the future?
I think I would say that they're not, and I would say
They're,
that for those who do and still do it, they don't give a damn. To be quite honest, because how could you not think when your child asks you like, you know, where's my dad, or when
mm,
your dad tells you and say, well, why didn't you let me see your dad? You know, it just might be a merry-go-round full of lies. So
ooh,
I think it's always they don't think about the child's best interest. If you can push aside all the BS that's happening between the grown folks and
he meant
focus on the
bullshit, y'all.
child,
But go ahead.
huh?
I said he meant bullshit, y'all, but go ahead.
and focus on the child's well-being, then
Hmm.
you should see clearly at what you should do and what you need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a stereotype that just because two people are not together, then they shouldn't get along.
And that
Like,
is
girl,
so not
why
true.
is your baby dad at your house? Oh, y'all still, you know, kicking and y'all still. That ain't for one. That ain't your business. Stop
No, it's
allowing
not
people
your
to be in your business.
but it's called co-parenting. I mean, you getting along.
Exactly.
Things work
But
out better and things move smoother when you are getting along or trying to understand. And if you got people who are both adulting, you got to compare schedules. I ain't gonna be able to pick up Junior on this day. Can you? It's a lot
most
goes on behind
definitely,
it. Yeah, so you have to try
most
to work
definitely.
things out and get on the same page.
I think that that's frowned upon in this today's society because if you and your ex are getting along, then they think y'all together. You know what I'm saying? You got to be together. You still got to be messing around with them. You got to be doing this and that. It ain't that you recognize that you guys are two adults. You got this child to raise, and let's just get along. For even if that's the only reason, let's just get along. Let's show a united front, and we can get along. But
Hmm.
they don't see it that way.
They don't want to see it that way. They would rather pull something negative out of it versus, you know what?
Most
I'm
definitely.
glad and proud that they, put their differences aside and they, trying to be there for the key. They don't want to see that part. They want to know, the grudge that's going on, which is why they kind of make up stuff in their own head and they be oh so wrong
You know what? It
about
just
it. So,
it reminds me of a conversation I was having with a friend this weekend, and he just stated that women have entered into the crab bucket. The whole crab thing is where when a brother's trying to make it, you got another brother pulling him down. He said now with this game that they're playing with the kids, it kind of keeps the brother down. And it was sad to me to realize that that's kind of the truth in some situations, in some instances. But we know some instances men need to step up and be a father. In some instances, women need to allow us access so we can be a father, and that's important. It's
well,
important to
that
have
is the
both
thing for me,
kids.
is to allow, the man to be a father. I mean, it should not be difficult. Women, moms, whatever, I ain't gonna say it, should make it easy, for dad to be around and in your kid's life, because Junior is going to grow up. And when Junior starts standing over you and looking back, don't try to call his dad in, because daddy could have been there all along.
Most definitely, most definitely. And I think the
Now
thing about it
you
too,
want bad love. Mm-hmm.
the thing about it too is that
Go ahead.
because the children are watching you. So as they grow up and become
Mhm.
parents, what do you think they're going to do? What example have they had? Because regardless of how we
Mhm.
grew up, we tend to think about things that happen in our life, and you either going to change it or proceed with what was happening in your life. So it's a must that
Mhm.
we show a positive image, a positive parent image, in this saying allowing your father over. And then, you know what? In some instances, it's D.A.P.A. dads, our parents also. In some instances, I've heard women have been denied access to their children. A father went to court behind, people back, behind her back, and got custody, and then denied her access of her own child.
But was it
So,
for legitimate reason or just being spiteful?
uh, to my understanding, because there's two sides to every story, it was
Mhm.
to be spiteful. And it was all a lie. It was all about them having connections with the court system.
It is not that serious. I mean, I don't think they are really, both the mom and the dad, really understanding um what problems you could be creating with your kid, mentally, emotionally. You don't know what, you are stirring up in this kid. I mean, they may not say nothing. We take for granted that children don't, pay attention to us. Trust and believe. They pay attention, they hear more, and they understand much more than we get credit for. So don't ever think that, you on the phone with your best BFF, and you talking about, he go kidnap my child, and you don't think that kid hear that in the other
Most
room. They
definitely,
hearing everything
most
that you say.
definitely. And in the
So when
hardest
you
part of the
talking
process,
down,
go ahead.
mhm,
And I
go
said that
ahead.
the hardest part of the process is, and I said it before, it not only affects the father, which is hurtful, but it affects the other kids around. My granddaughter, who have been just they've been best friends. They've been calling themselves best friends since my daughter was 1, and my granddaughter actually will be 10 tomorrow. And she's been diagnosed with autism, and she doesn't understand because she look at me like, Paul, when is Ebony coming over? Or why you just can't go get Ebony? It's hard for me to tell her. It's like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I say her mom won't let me get it. Well,
Mm.
can you just call her? I'm like, well, I did. Her mom is not answering the phone, and she was like, why is her mom acting like a jerk? And I was like, baby, I don't
See,
know. It's hard to
even
answer
other
those
kids
questions.
know that the other parent is being a jerk. Yeah,
Right.
I don't like. I've heard other women, being spiteful on different levels or another. And as a woman, I do not like it at
Right.
all. Not at all. I mean, that was one thing that I always wanted, was for my kids to have both their parents. And
Mhm.
for some, that's a goal. But for many reasons, that is not always reality. So you have to learn to, put your differences aside. I mean, cuss them out in your head, whatever, whatever. But it's not about you anymore. It's about
Okay.
your kids, the bigger
Most
picture. You have to go along to get along. I mean, yeah.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
like this. How many people? I know you said that you are starting this movement up. So
Hmm.
what is your next step, and what do you need from, like, the community to go forward, if anything?
What I'm working on right now is to make DAPA an organization, a nonprofit organization. So, but what I need people to do is just support me.
Nonprofit.
Support me by like it. Yeah, nonprofit organization. I just need people to just support, to like, to make comments, interact with me because we're all suffering through this, or we know someone who this is affecting.
Mm-hmm.
And let's show it. I'm going to start a petition soon. I have letters drafted up that I'm going to send to my representatives, to the senators, and stuff like that. I'm going to meet with the mayors. So I just need people's support. I need the support by, liking and sharing the page. Let's get the word out. That DAPA's here and we're here to help. We want to make sure that every father or mother who chooses to have access, who wants to have access to their child, can have access to their child.
Mm-hmm. Now, we do understand for those moms that I know probably blowing hard and then lit about 2 or 3 cigarettes since we've been talking. We do know that there are some, like, we do and understand that there are fathers that, of course, don't fit this profile.
Most definitely.
Some, they just can't be trusted for whatever reason. They just can't have visiting or unsupervised visits, whatever. We're not talking about those guys. We're talking about these guys who are trying to be dads and fathers to their kids, and you are just being spiteful and not allowing them to. We're
Most
talking about
definitely.
that. We're talking
Most
about,
definitely. Because we
yeah, the
understand.
women who are still in their feelings about things, who don't want to let the past be the past and
Right.
move forward and look at the bigger picture. So we're not talking
Most
about those
definitely.
guys.
Most definitely. Like if
Yeah,
just any type of domestic or situations where you or
no.
you feel your child is in danger, then most definitely, we're not talking about those
Yeah,
situations.
we're not talking about those situations. So do you have a website, email, your social media where people can reach out to you and maybe ask more questions or maybe ask how they can help? Where can they reach you?
Most definitely. You can reach me on a website, www.dads, the letter R, parents, the number 2, .org. So that's dads are parents too. You can reach me on Instagram at DAPA, DAPA _dad. Or I'm on Facebook as Dads Are Parents Also, DAPA.
Okay, what's that website again?
www.dads, the letter R, parents with S,
Mhm,
the number 2,
mhm.
.org.
Got it, got it. Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna be following up with this because this will be good. Especially with the different states reaching out to, get someone to be leaders in those different states to kind of focus, on one particular state law. Because I mean, that's why you hear of attorneys who only have jurisdiction in one state because learning laws per state, a lot of work.
Most definitely.
Have
Learning
people to
styles,
the state. Right.
right. It's even
Mm-hmm.
difficult to understand the laws in your own state versus try to go to other states and try to learn the laws. But that's what we're working on. Just I was just blessed to just go through and just kind of read. And I hate to read, oh my God. But just go through and read and try to understand, ask questions. I've emailed the state numerous times just asking questions. What is this? What is that? What is that? So I have an understanding of it. To get an understanding is the most important thing in the world. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but like I said, if we can come in to assist anyone, that's why I've started this organization so we can assist.
Okay. Well, I definitely back you 150% on this because
I
I
appreciate you.
mean, I'm not my we are not together, but when they were of a certain age, because our kids are grown now, but when they were at that age that, they wanted to go to their dad, I would have it packed a week before summer to put before the holiday. Y'all go on because I mean a lot of women while you're being bitter and miserable, you're missing out on a long time. You could be on a girls trip with your friends, you could be at the spa, the nail shop, and
Most
know that
definitely.
your kids are with their dad. Oh, come on, y'all missing the big picture here. And that was one thing we did not ever have no issues about. You want to pick them up what time? You want me to meet you halfway? So yes. No, I was not their mom. They can go with their dad whenever they wanted to. So, well, I want to thank you again, Mr. Benny Wilson. And are you the founder of this? Do you have any other people working with you?
I am the founder. I do have, because I have a nonprofit, building a nonprofit organization, I do have a board. So, yeah, there's members of my board as well. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I definitely thank you again for coming on and spreading the word about DAPA, which is Dads Our Parents also, and that is DADS, the letter R, parents, the number two.org, if anyone wants more information and to reach out to you.
Correct. And I might also add, I would like
Uh,
to, just in case my baby, reaches out and sees this, and I would like to leave a message if that's all right with you.
Go ahead.
All right. I just like to, Ebony Nicole Wilson. That's my baby name. And it's Benny with an E in front of it. So she should have been, got the junior. She was my junior daughter. This is your dad. I would just like you to know. I just would like you to know, whatever you're being told, your daddy loves you. Your daddy wants to see you. Your daddy wants to be with you. Your daddy wants to play with you. I want to make videos with you like we always used to do. Want to take you shopping. I even want to see you sleep. Everyone misses you, mama. And we love you so much. And it's so sad that you have to go through this, but I know that through this we all will be stronger. And just to know, because of you, your dad is working hard to make sure that other kids have the opportunity to
Mhm.
be with their parents. And I just want to say that I love you from the bottom of my heart forever. Thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet. And for the moms that are contributing to this foolishness, you ought to feel as low can go. But that's a whole episode also. So stay on the line for me, Benny. And to all of those listeners out there, thank you so much for supporting Chats and Vibes. Just go out and subscribe to Chats and Vibes on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and all the other podcast platforms. Thank you guys.
Thank you.